Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the last episode of this BRC Championship. You are in Britain again, and here with me we have Martin and Perlix.
Hello,
Roland.
everybody.
Hello?
Yeah, hello there, guys.
Okay, you're alive.
Yes.
Of course I am. I'm perfectly healthy and alive.
Good.
How you would expect it.
Hope you can hear me.
Nothing else.
Oh.
In
Sorry,
these
I was
times,
still on
health
mute.
is very...
Okay.
Hello,
Very good.
everybody. All right.
Hello.
There we are at the end of the season, at the end of this challenge, which not only consisted of racing, but basically was only done because of racing. And yeah, we'll find out who will be the racing champion today. And yeah, maybe tomorrow we'll find out who has won the overall challenge.
So, where we left.
Where we left, yeah, after race 8, I guess. And yeah, there we are right now. We are waiting for the two races in Knockhill and in Donington Park. Yeah, in Knockhill it seems like we will have a little bit of rain in the second race, and in Donington Park in the first race, but shouldn't be too much, but we'll see.
So, we have a very tight battle between Critical Set and Fail. They are in first position, Critical Set with 126 points, and Fail just 3 points behind. In second place. In third, we have Derbayer with 114 points, and Ryan having a little bit of jinx, I could say, on some races, and probably the car deserves a little bit more than the point it had at the moment, that are 106 points.
But still,
These
there
are the
are 80
strongest
points to
contenders.
get, so we'll see.
Yeah, these at least are the 4 strongest contenders for the winner title of the BRC.
So yeah, let's take a look at the track during the practice session. Yeah, Knockhill
Of course.
is
Or also known as Knockout Hill in
Yeah.
the past.
Yeah.
Known
Oh.
for
Looks
very
quite
interesting
fast.
races. It is a fast track. I mean, you have the long straight, the curvy bend. Well, it's a it's a straight curved bend. It looks like a banana, and it looks a bit like shooter track.
Kinda, yeah. Yeah. I can see it, yes.
so basically what's important here is acceleration from low gears, basically. So I guess out of the very last corner, the hairpin bend of the rear-wheel drive cars should have a small advantage. And yeah, in the middle it's just medium to low speed corners. So acceleration will help. Top speed is not that important. Cornering is important, of course. Overtaking will be difficult, so some people might use a little bit of car body contact to pass other guys.
The question is, where is the sound again?
Okay, so I think I shared my screen.
You had?
I have shared my screen, and I have the BRC
Bacteria.
on.
Oh,
Did you
All
hear
the
nothing?
secrets.
Do you hear nothing at all? Or
nothing. We
Not
have to
yet.
share the.
I can feel my cat. What?
try again?
Cat? Proof.
Do you hear something?
Nope.
The problem is with you have to share the screen, the game, the screen.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
I
it's
remembered it the wrong way then. Yeah. Try again. The game.
Oh,
here it
there
is.
it is.
Finally.
I'll turn down the sound a bit.
Okay.
No, it's fine. It's still the setting from last time. So I think we're fine and ready to go. Let me save the practice results.
So what do we see in the practice results?
There we go.
Woohoo.
So yeah, what's
Ready.
interesting here is Ryan is on, seems to be the fastest one. as he also might not have that much weight ballast. And he wants to pick up a few places here, I guess.
I will not say unexpected, but a little bit unexpected 4th place for Conan in practice.
Indeed it is, indeed.
And Rabayer seems to be a little bit lower than I was expecting to see him.
Yeah, I also hope for more.
True indeed.
Same goes for Norman Vauxhall. Also 1 place lower than
Yeah, 1 place above the below the expected
It's
result.
expected, but all in all, it's nothing out of the ordinary. Like it's like we have seen it before. We have not big changes really.
I'm the only one that having problem with the audio. I'm listening.
Yeah, that's the usual issue with the VRC. No
Okay.
worries there. The Vauxhall. But yeah, nothing I would say out of the ordinary in the training.
Mhm.
Considering looking at the rain graph, it could be interesting in race 2 though. Rain.
Let's take a look at qualifying, I guess.
Let's see if the prediction of the practice will be consistent of some.
Oh yeah,
Ooh, a little bit of rain.
quite
Oh.
heavy rain.
Just
Quite a little
bit.
bit. So it's completely wet.
Looks like Monaco in 1984. The Grand Prix of Monaco in 1984.
A completely wet track.
Well,
The Grand Prix.
I know that was a very rainy one because Alain Prost asked to stop the race while Ayrton Senna and Toleman was gaining like 5 seconds a lap on him.
I would ask to stop the race then.
And then he lost the championship for half point because if he took the second place of the total race, he would take 6 points instead of 4.5, and then it will beat Niki Lauda. By the way,
But you know, considering the BRC and considering the rain, results could be again completely different from what we expect them to be.
We already see Conan dropping significantly there. Seems to be.
We also see Critical Set being on the top instead.
Fail is still coming, but he is already 4 times back and only on 4th place.
Yep.
Interesting, and 100 is separating first and second.
That's absolutely
Wow.
crazy. That's basically almost no different. That will be an interesting race. Obviously only in the wet. Idea.
Look at the starting grid.
Conan had a bit of back off because of the rain.
The driver was scared, you know.
The Not Snail
It's a-
gained a little bit of places.
I didn't take a look at all of the statistics for this season, but is this the first time the cadet is not on pole?
Oh, nice question.
I suppose it's first time, yes. I'm not sure.
just
Someone
remember the
in the
bingo.
comments, if you
Yeah,
want to
I
point
was
it out,
expecting
point it
to
out.
show up.
But
show up the-
Cortex, maker of the cadet,
card.
says it is the first time, probably. So yeah, the first time it's not on the pole, probably thanks to the rain.
Alright, so let's take a look at the second half of the grid. No surprises there as well, I guess.
The second half is, I would say, mostly as expected.
The Combi is on 13 and the MPV on 16.
And then Espace as usual. You know, the Espace always wonders me, like this car, despite being in an Espace, it's like still fighting against all the sedans.
So, let's start the first race for today.
So,
Four
I also
races
hope
to go.
Team Cortex has put up their bingo, the BRC bingo.
Let's hope they
and,
don't crash again.
Oh, that's a hope instead, indeed.
I wonder if in the bingo card there is BRC crashing, but I hope not.
I hope it's not.
I hope-
Last time was
I hope-
already a
just
bit
hope it's not.
excessive.
Let's see what it does.
Okay, let's see. Let's get on to the race.
And they're off
And off we go
And Donuts
with a green light. Donutsnet takes an
immediately.
a
Ooh,
great,
Conan
fantastic
had a
start.
terrible start.
It's a fantastic start for Donaldson. Oh, and oh.
Ooh.
It's
not
not
that small.
crazy, but that puts Human onto P18.
Wow, first time.
Best rank
guess.
ever.
Mm-mm.
Critical is on 3, Ryan on 4, Fail on 5, and normal Vauxhall takes it.
Normal Vauxhall climbing 2 spots already.
Don't say anything, please.
And the buyer takes
Oh.
the lead.
Actually, amazing so far. But so far, you know, it's again the usual issue with the cadet being held up. There's
Would be better off alone on the track.
It's one of those cars that actually, as you say, it would absolutely benefit from having a free field. But let's see, the race is long. We have, what is it, 24 laps to go. And a lot can happen in the BRC.
Doesn't seem like the leader is pulling away.
Situation seems to be a little bit stabilized at the moment.
Everything
There are some
seems to be
pressure
normal.
on several drivers that are pushed, and they're trying to defending their position. But at the moment, everything seems to be quite stationary. Not the cars, of course, the positions.
I would say it's racing how it should be, even though there's less fighting going on in the gaps in between.
It's a tight track. It's hard to overtake there.
It is taken in consideration the width of the track.
I think the BRC is taking that into consideration as well as car width for overtaking.
Oh, okay.
But Martin, it's your simulation, your creation.
It's not taking in consideration the width of the track now. It's basically
Okay.
just a line and then some random.
Okay. Well, there is the graph with all the cars missing. It
Yes, I removed
It
that
was-
one as I hoped this was the issue.
one of the reason of the
Oh,
possible reason.
just as you
Okay.
said, Norman, I haven't actually, like, it's funny to say, but I have actually not noticed it.
So if you didn't notice it was not.
Exactly. If
Ah,
you didn't
I
notice
find
it
it-
until now, then
It was cute to see the cars running, just
have
having
some-
the silhouette of the car. But
I have something different in mind to see if I know it's important to see the cars, so maybe I just have some kind of a let them run through in the positions they currently are, one after the other, a little bit bigger, because you couldn't see anything there anyway.
yeah, you couldn't
Mhm.
see the starting of the cars anyways, or at least there's so much empty space right to the cars. You could just display the top 3 or top 5.
But then it's always the same.
ooh,
Oh,
Human
well,
is giving everything to not to be last.
or you could show always the top 5, like the first 5, the next 5, and the next 5, and the next 5, and say P1 to 5, and so on. So
Yeah, I think of something for the next race or next season.
But as Quotex points out, it will be troublesome with 50 plus cars, and with the BRC 1970 on the horizon, I think there will be quite a lot of cars even.
I don't know how many we had in 1976. I guess that was the one of the most cars
around 50.
Around 50, it
Yeah.
was a lot.
And currently, I already have done more than 40 homologations in the 1970s race,
Oh,
and I already
nice.
got a few more. So I think we will be around 60, 70 again.
Oh, by the way,
Again, new record.
to give you an update, we had the most in 66 with 69 participants.
Wow. I have to say the critical set is quite pushing on Donald Snail to take into second place.
Absolutely. the
And
gap is
their buyer
closing.
wasn't able to run away and take advantage of the lead.
He's
widening
fast
the
enough. He's fast enough to hold everyone up, but not fast enough to get away.
But I'm not really holding them up. I'm always, going away on the straights. I have no pressure at all. Just go
True,
through the
true.
corners slowly,
True.
and the others are picking up in the corners.
So, Roland, I'm just waiting that you say, oh, Derbayer is running a very nice race. So, something happened and he
he's running a very nice race.
No, not again.
Boom.
But actually, I was quite lucky, so I had a quite consistent season so far. So my car seems to be really slow in the first sector, and the rest is fine.
Yeah,
Like,
the first
yeah, it's
sector is
quite
actually
slow.
quite a lot slower.
Slower than
Also-
Snowpress, and that means
Absolutely.
a lot.
Absolutely. Also talking about sectors, on the track map, can we have sectors at some point to see where exactly a sector ends, or
Yeah.
like the?
It's already. I just
Ooh, critical
deactivated
set
the
was-
drawing of the tracks.
It's just
Now
just
Critical
drawing.
Set has overtaken Donut Snail, now is in second position and starting to pressure on Derbayer to taking the lead.
Bad,
Oh,
yeah.
Donut Snail just overtaken. Critical set on second place and now
Just hit.
closing in on the wire. That will be tough.
I've taken the 8th place and I'm not fighting with anyone.
Yeah, and the cadet is not gaining. The cadet is lost behind.
Lost behind. It's just 1 second behind the lead, 1.4 seconds. It's not that far away behind.
It is.
Come on, not that much. If it was like, I don't know, 10 seconds behind, I would say, oh, Ryan, the cadet is quite behind and it's just there.
It's just there, but it's, if you look at the sector time, it's not gaining on Fail's car. It's actually consistently not much slow, but it is slow. And there is no traffic for it as well. Not much at least.
Not at the moment. Then I starting to thinking that Ryan is pushing on Fail now. Just a little bit, maybe. Their buyers start to be under pressure by Critical Set.
Yes, absolutely understandable. Critical set has such
Yeah.
has absolutely he has
Fail
quite a
don't
pace.
want to let Critical Set take the lead in the championship, so he have to fight with all he has. Ooh,
Small.
Ooh, it's small. But
yeah, it's
probably
very
not
small.
a hurting one.
0.2 of a second for the lead. And they're breaking into the hairpin. Hairpin hold lead there.
And we also have our fourth, and in a way, surprise commentator Kyle Leonardo. He's already in here. He just has to find his microphone.
Long time. I didn't see him.
Yeah, so far we can just see. Oh, the pressure on Donut Snail by Fail is increasing. His head, you know, the blood pressure must be insane.
The joke about exploding head of the driver, I think I've already done it enough, so I will not repeat
Yeah,
it.
but now maybe his tires will explode. It would be something interesting.
Maybe just, I don't know, heart attack or something like that.
Maybe.
A stroke.
More strong, but the thing is, you know, with the pressure. Oh, human, by the way, he just dropped again on. 20th place.
Yeah.
The crash from Jake and Noah C, that was not enough for him to gain.
So more than 1 second faster than him.
Well, will their buyer be able to keep the lead under the pressure of Critical Set for the remaining, how much? 8 laps? 8, 9
Currently,
laps?
fastest man on track is Rob, by the way, in 7th place.
Oh,
That's the green circle.
All right, gentlemen, have I managed to figure this out?
Yeah, seems like.
Welcome back.
Hello,
Welcome back.
Kyle.
Good to be back, guys. Nice to have an American back in on the video, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
folks. Long time no see.
Although this is just British cars racing, no V8s. They have actually been banned from the race. But
I have to dust off my copy of Automation and see if I can't throw it into your upcoming competition.
yeah, definitely, there are lots of Americans already joining. Lots of
Yeah.
V8s, a lot of 5-liter and all.
That's quite some advertisement for the BRC 1970 here.
Yes, I don't necessarily know how competitive I will be, but I will certainly throw a potentially a Windsor block into the competition.
Oh
I
my.
have already ordered a few more fuel trucks.
Make sure it has lead.
Definitely.
To me, as I said before, and will say a lot, I like the Group 1 at Lost because it is the hardest one to build cars for. It's not just clamping together, you know, a V8 and pouring in quality. With Group 1 you just can't pour in quality at all.
Conan pushed his way past Euromax there.
Mm-mm.
That means Euromax is currently on pole for race 2.
Oh, damn, you're right.
I hope he can hold on to it though, because he took a good chunk of damage to be able to make that move.
Oh yes, he did.
First place.
And he's
currently-
already lost it to Conan.
First place.
They
is
crashed.
in 2/10 again. Critical Set is launching the final attacks.
Oh, the cadet
Fail
just
lost
overtook
the place.
Fail.
Hmm?
He lost the place.
And Donald is still there. With all the pressure of the...
And
Oh,
Ryan goes-
okay.
And
Oh,
Honestly, it
a
doesn't
tiny,
look
tiny fender bender. Just some
Yeah.
paint scrap.
We're
scraps.
inside 5 laps to go here. It's not uncommon to see some drivers get chippy at the end and use those fenders.
Fenders are there for a reason.
These aren't open wheel cars, folks.
Now,
And again, and still the pressure on Donut Snap, it's insane.
Fail has to do all the he can to avoid losing too many points against critical set. But
He
I
can't for that.
suspect
The car is fast, but it's not fast enough on this track.
the
But then
wire
again-
is still keeping the first place.
Then again, considering, you know, Fail is always this, has always have been this second stint car. On the
Yeah.
first stint, you know, no, not so good. On the second stint, overtaking everyone.
Ryan is really close to Critical Set now as well. Or he
Mhm.
was before the long straight, back straight.
It's at the point where if Critical Set goes to challenge their buyer, Ryan could dive up underneath.
Maybe, yeah. It's really close at the end of the straight.
Only 2 laps to go here.
God, you're killing me.
And
Top 3 all within a second of each other, almost 3/4 of a second now. Donut a whole second back from third, and then about a half second back to Fail. That's your top 5. And just a quick mention of the number 8 car in 8th.
thank you.
I take it he who shall not be named is still he who shall not be named on these feeds.
Yeah. Last lap is going.
White flag
White
out.
flag in the air, 1/3 of a second between first and second. A good deal of pressure on their buyer as we go into the second quarter of the lap. The gap down to less than 2/10. We're talking 14/100ths of a second through the
And
markers.
there's a car to be lapped now. Oh, and the buyer should not.
Oh,
And the buyer
the
overtaken
buyer lost
on the
it.
straight.
And
Damn
last
it.
corner.
Going into the last braking zone, it's down to 800ths of a second. It's a drag race to the front.
Wow,
Down the
That's
front
an
stretch.
amazing
that's
job.
amazing.
Gap less than 2/10
Wow.
of a second. Ryan back only 0.3. Then it's a whole 1.2 seconds to Donut, who only takes that position by a 1/10 of a second over Fail.
That was intense. This last 10 seconds of this race, oh my god.
Last corner and last
The last
Yeah,
straight
wow.
and corner, absolutely amazing.
Everybody
wow.
keep the concentration until the end
Pushing.
just to try
Everyone
to...
was pushing.
Wow, amazing.
Critical set up his move and made it where he knew he had to, and then it was smooth sailing till the end.
Absolutely.
God damn it. Last.
That was intense.
I'm still happy that I'm not third, but
You're right.
So that was race number 9, I guess. Let's see.
And Critical Set is moving away from Fail in the standings.
So yeah, we saw that it was quite
No,
tight
12
there.
point of difference.
Few changes in positions, even up and down here for Ryan. So really nice. What's going on there? And yeah, Critical Set. Is this already the decision for the championship? Still 60 points to get. We'll see. It all depends now on the next race, and yeah, how everybody will get away from the starting line, I guess.
Euromax had made some moves in the early part of the race and then just slowly fell off toward the end. He gets that number 1 position though for the reverse grid.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, and then Conan and it's Norman Voxel on 3.
Naturally,
Interesting.
That 8 car was in no man's land for the end of this race here. 7 seconds behind 7th, but another
7
8 or so, 11 ahead. Yeah, math is hard.
Wow, but top 5 in 1.6 seconds.
tight fight race.
Are we already relaxed enough to go into the next race?
Yeah, after the very fireworks end of the race.
Hey, I only just got time to warm up. I'm ready to rock and roll for a whole nother BRC.
Alright, then let's go. So, the grid is showing, as we said, Euromax on 1, Conan on 2,
Norman Voxel on the 3. That will be an interesting race with Fail sitting plant in the middle of the whole field.
And probably overtaking everyone before the first corner.
Yeah, and
Probably,
going for
considering-
the race win again.
Considering what he has in front of him, that's a very well possibility. However, again, the second stint is a rain stint.
Yeah,
True.
and rain
That
will
could
pick
be
up.
good. That could be really good for him.
And will help the less powered cars.
Yeah. Second half, again, Combi on
Oh.
13, MPV on 16, so same as before.
Because we didn't had the trump cards, I don't have any idea about the power of the competitors here around, because I know that my car have like 204 horsepower, but I have no idea all the other cars which power they have.
I think Critical Set and the Bayer, they have around 245 to 50.
Wow.
Ryan around 230 to 35. So your car is actually doing quite well for that.
Yeah,
power.
yeah, of course.
Yeah, and the rest, basically, the further back you go, the weak killer cars get. But that already shows you 30-40 horsepower difference. Yeah, the spread in the field is quite high.
But also the others have 4 cylinders. I mean, I have a single overhead cam 4-cylinder engine, but I don't know if I know that Bavaria have the 6 inline engine,
Of course.
but I don't remember the Cadet and the other, like the Adenine. Turbo. Oh, someone is replying on the chat. Luckily, Turbo had 241.
I'll try to get
Kind
the
of not-
trump cards back for the next BRC.
Oh, don't worry. I was just. It was an interesting conversation point, just to have also an idea why the car are performing the way
course.
they are. So.
Definitely. So that should be an easy enough job to do. It's just it takes time. So
Yeah, I know. Don't worry. I'm not complaining
Yeah.
at all. You're doing a great job. Seriously, don't worry. I was just.
It's clearly not enough to have completely developed, designed, and host every single one of these BRC events that have been held over the year with such realistic racing simulations that no one has even come close to anywhere else in the automation community. Not enough, Martin. How
Thank
dare you? I am disgusted in lodging a formal complaint with the automation gods.
Thanks a lot. And it only took me a break of 4 years to come back. So
Yeah. Yes. If you couldn't tell that was sarcasm, folks, I'm gonna let you in on the secret now.
all right. I think let's go into the race before this gets even more. So okay, we start off with 20% of rain, and Fail goes into the lead, I guess.
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
But knowing the rain,
Green.
it will pick up. It will.
And
It's a great start so far. You're
Goodbye,
like standing at the
overtaking.
first and pulling away. The Fail already climbing
Fail.
on 5th. Their buyer on 8, holding up Critical Set and Ryan. The
Vortex
Fail
lost
on
another
4th
one.
place.
Oh, small bump.
small touch.
Small bumper.
20 cars, all within
already
8
on the
seconds of each
floor.
other will do that.
Will Fail get Norman Vauxhall? Will he get him on the back straight?
No, you wouldn't.
Or in the last corner?
Their
Come
buyer
on,
and title
in the last
guy
corner.
duking it out.
No,
And Fail on
he
3rd
did.
place on the last straight,
It's
on
the
the
same always. Fail.
finish straight. And I think exactly he will now go for Conan and for Euromax. Then it's basically it.
Yeah, the fastest in this first sector, so yeah, I think it doesn't take much for him to overtake again.
Although he's only about 9/100ths of a second faster than Conan through that first sector.
And the buyer lost another place. Two places. One place.
It's a
Two.
drag race down the front stretch going into turn 1 as 7 through 9 are all jockeying for position. A mere 1/10 of a second separating 3 cars.
And Fail
Ouch.
had a small crash and went down to 3 again. Norman Vauxhall on 2, Conan on 1st. Euromax lost 6 places.
And he'll probably lose more with 13 damage in this very heavily competitive part of the field. It's going to be
It's
hard to see him hold
absolutely-
off Critical Set and Ryan, as well as their buyer.
Fail already in
Didn't-
second
no.
again.
Didn't lose any time.
Will he try to push past Conan with 4th again?
Look at the lap time, though. I mean, that's half a second faster than really anyone in the field.
Yeah, but yeah, let's see. Everybody is in traffic right now, but Fail has a good car. Yeah, has a little bit less weight than the other top contenders there.
It's the drag race down the front stretch as the gap goes to 7/100ths of a second, and he passes going into turn 1.
Oh wow! And on the first place again, and that small damage will probably not slow him down enough.
Yeah. And the
Not
others are
nearly.
still down the line. Critical Set on 7, Bayer on 9, Ryan on 10.
4 laps into race 2, Fail goes to the lead and sets the fastest lap of the race at a 1:03.27. The rain definitely making a difference here. We were seeing lap times just over the 1 minute mark. So we've lost about 3 seconds in pace for the top competitors. A 1:02.2 though. So we're picking up the speed here as the track dries a little bit and the competitors get a little more used to the conditions. Fail continues to open up the gap. It's up to 3/4 of a second now. 3rd place is the number 8 car, 3 seconds back from the lead, followed by Kill Rob, 3.5 seconds back. Donuts rounds out the top 5, 4 seconds back from them as they go down the front stretch to commence lap 7.
So Norman Vauxhall is starting to feel a little bit uncomfortable in P3.
Yes, I think the drier condition is giving me a hard time. I think my cars go a little bit better on the wet.
But rain will come, so maybe this is
Mhm.
your chance to score a podium here.
Now I'm trying to keep an eye on the gap between 1st and 2nd place around the track here. Fail is able to open it up, going down the front stretch and that bit of a back stretch there before the last corner. But Conan really reels him in through sector 1, it appears. He keeps managing to nibble away at the gap. I'm waiting for him to prove me wrong as they go through this next timing sector. But he was down to about 0.8 of a second from a 1 second gap. Here's staying at 1:08. So it looks like they've kind of managed to stay in the same pace. I'll want to see if Fail can manage to open up the gap one more time going down the front stretch.
But we have seen in the practice session that Conan has the pace to go fast here if he has free air and free space to go. But in traffic, it it seems like he doesn't have enough power to really make use of his cornering abilities.
Well, Kabat's with an error back in 12th
Big
place.
driver error.
Luckily, doesn't really take any damage from that whatsoever, and he had enough of a cushion back to the car lover in 13th, although now they're within half a second of each other, so there's a chance that the car lover might be able to make a move. Back to the lead, though. Fail comes around to start lap number 10, and he continually manages to get that gap to open up just a little bit more as everybody begins to record faster laps of the race. It looks like about at least half, if not about, oh, I don't know, 60% of the field just recorded their fastest lap of the race. Although the rain is picking up dramatically all of a
Now
sudden.
it's
Yeah.
really starting to rain.
Yes.
Already wetter than it was when we took the green flag.
Rain.
Will the errors come out as drivers now have to contend with a soaked racetrack?
Still everybody's staying out. And now it really is significantly picking up humidity on the track. And the first cars are coming in. The back markers are already pitting for wet
Oh.
tires.
All right. I forgot there was.
Duramax
there
over
was
the
fire.
curbs taking 20% damage there. That's going to cost him big time. He was
Yeah.
clinging on to a top 10 position, but he just dropped 5 spots. Tons of pressure from Durbuyer, and it cost him big time as he slides back with a large amount of damage, too.
Everybody's in the pits now.
Whose pit
Everybody
crew can get him
pitting.
out fast enough. Critical Set is the furthest down pit road, so he's going to show in P1 until folks can actually start moving.
Fail
And
is
folks
still
are
on.
moving again. Fail still on lead.
And it looks like Fail is going to really gap the competitors here coming out of pit road. That's a 5.4 second gap. He's now pulled on second place.
Norman Vauxhall
You know
lost a
what
few
this-
places there in the pits.
Yeah, just a few places, unfortunately.
You know what this race needs? A safety
An engine
car.
blowing up. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, safety car would be nice.
That would
Ooh,
change the field
Maybe just-
completely again.
7, a little bit of damage, running over the curbs a little bit too harshly.
Here comes Fail to start the midway lap of the race as the heavy downpour is getting us to almost complete humidity on the track. He's now up to a 6.2 second lead over Conan, who has an over 2 second gap back to Critical Set in third, Kill Rob in fourth, Title Guy in fifth, Norman Vauxhall in sixth, who just got passed by Donuts, Darebuyer in eighth, Ryan in ninth, and the Car Lover rounds out your top 10.
Fastest man on track is
Oh,
Ryan,
wow.
which is not surprising. It's not too powerful, has very good cornering, and really can pick up pace here in the west.
Nova C makes an error back in 17th place as Austin manages to squeak on through. Couple of good battles going on midfield here. 5th through 7th are all within about a second of each other. That's Title Guy, Donuts, and Norman Vauxhall. Donuts now moving up to 4th.
Still fighting
Ooh, a
out.
very, very harsh fight between Turtle Guy, Donut, Snail, and Killrob. They're just overtaking each other all the time on all the main.
Killrob must have gotten a corner wrong or something. Not quite driver error, but just he was out ahead of that pack for a second, and then all of a sudden Donuts just managed to swing through about 3 cars there in no time. Donuts, Title Guy, and Killrob all stay close, all within a second of each other as they battle around this track. Safety car!
Cabot has
Safety
crashed
car.
severely in
Oh wow.
turn 3.
Huge spin! Huge
I
spin!
just
Does not
said
get
it
much
and it
bigger than that.
happened.
That was an Urlaro Victoria.
So that's going to
Yeah, it's
that's
still the
going to
old-
really stack things up here.
We have still the old safety car from 4 years ago, from 1976. Basically.
And it's still a fine car.
Yeah.
With not photoshopped lights on top.
I will tell you, the 24 car did not want to see that. He had almost a 9-second lead over Conan. And it's all gone with the wreck coming out of Kabatz here on lap I guess it was 15 when they wrecked, but now here we are on 16.
Oh wow.
Hey, human for the first time is going to be 19.
I think we had a few
Is that the
crashes
first?
already.
We had that before.
Oh,
Maybe now?
they
Okay.
have overtaken the safety car there in the last corner. That might be a bug. And they are going again. So, okay, safety car phase is over. Just ignore that.
So the safety car is going to complete the race with us.
It's just too slow in these conditions. It's a car from 1976. What do you expect? Everybody's passing.
Can you hit the safety car? Can you pull a Days of Thunder? Can you hit the pace car?
No, you can't. But it must have some mechanical issues. By the way, it's an Italian car, so
Yeah.
it's too wet. Electrical issues.
So the lights went off and people think, oh, okay, it's finished. We can overtake and go.
We can go.
Well, it looks like the safety car is getting ready to pull in here.
Yeah, because it's damaged. Yeah, it's just too slow in the very slow corners. That's probably my bad. But it still did its job. Everybody was bunched up.
But since things have commenced, Fail has pulled back out to an almost 3-second lead. Importantly, though, Critical Set now is right behind Conan and is able to get in there and maybe compete for second because there's a gap
He
there.
will take second now, and now it's on for first place maybe.
Also, Donut was back about 11 seconds from the lead, and he had just passed 4 cars. That was a gift in disguise for him, as he might have a chance to nibble at the heels of the podium spots right here. It's definitely a big battle going on between Critical Set and Conan now, as they're almost indistinguishable going down along the backstretch.
And the gap for Fail is just getting larger and larger and larger with every moment.
No, I'm sorry that I have just taken your place.
Oh.
Red cars to the front here as the 24, 76, and 77 run 1, 2, and 3 as we start lap number 20. We're getting towards crunch time here as a big pack exists really between 3rd and back down to 9th, all within 5 seconds of each other and running in that cluster right there. Slowly beginning to spread out, though, as the track remains to be heavily inundated with water. Fail going down in toward the last corner here, stretching his lead out, almost catching back up to Jake, who's the last car on the lead lap.
Critical is getting a little bit closer, but there's only 5 laps to go. We'll see if he can launch an attack to the front or not.
Last time by, Critical Set runs a lap 1/4 of a second faster than our leader, Fail. However, the question is Fail just kind of riding around right now with nobody really that close to him? Could he turn it on if he had to at the end? But even at that speed, 1/4 of a second per lap with now only 4 laps to go, he's not going to catch up in time unless something happens. Although, if I'm not mistaken, and I have watched this race, not commentated this race, we did see a mistake out of the leader, but the gap was too large for it to matter.
Another 1/10 of a second is gone. 3 seconds is to get now.
That last lap, identical times across the tape for Fail and Critical Set. Donuts has come up into 3rd. Donuts
It
managed
is
to get
getting
around
closer.
Conan.
But I don't think it will be enough for both Critical Set and Donut to get on P1. But then again, looking at how fast Critical Set is actually, it
Critical
could-
Set gets it down within
could
3.
be. It could very well be.
3 laps to go as the track is almost completely covered in water. An error out of Lorded back in 11th. He's got a decent enough gap that he should be able to hold off Euramax. Decent showing out of Lorded today. Fail coming out of the last corner, about to get the 2 to go signal. It's title guy, Ryan and Derby are all battling viciously. Conan down to 7th as they are all within less than half a second of each other, trading positions back and forth across the line and down through the first series of corners. it still hasn't settled down as the gaps are tiny, and Ryan and Derek Beyer are all fighting through it. Derek Beyer was back in 7th or 8th at the beginning of the last lap, and here he is fighting for 4th as he takes the position from Ryan, but I don't think Ryan's going to take it laying down. Phil coming around the last corner to get the white flag.
Yeah, and it's still 3 seconds, and yeah, the conditions still are treacherous, so everything is possible to have a small driver error, but it looks like a comfortable win there. 2.6.
A very comfortable win.
Derek Beyer and Ryan still duking it out for that 4th place position. That's the best spot that they're going to get after an error in front of somebody ahead of them. The gap less than 1/10 of a second as they go down the backstretch for the final time, as Fail goes for the home stretch, and he can see the checkered flag in the air for this
And
race.
he's going, and leaving a huge
Title
gap
guy,
for Critical
title
Set.
guy,
And
place.
across the line.
spin-
Terrible time. What a terrible time for an error. He falls
What a
down
bad
to 8th.
timing.
Out of a battle between 4th through 7th, and that will finish that run there. An inopportune moment to make an error.
What a photo finish between 4 and 5, but there's
That was a race.
millimeters
Damn.
the back.
That was proper racing.
And what's insane about that is Ryan actually laid down a faster lap right there. So he probably would have passed him going into turn 1.
He would have. He would.
So,
Well, that was an entertaining
What an
finish
interesting
to the
race.
Fail again takes the race 2 lead. It's completely crazy. Let me say first, race 10 is done. So, but that also means it was important that he won, because the gap in the championship is down to 9 points then.
Oh wow. Well, again, Fail having a great second stint car. He's proving it.
It just gets away from the line, has a very good first lap against the slower cars, and then goes away. And even the safety car, which had some electrical issues, could not take the victory away.
But indeed, it helped Critical Set to defend the position. Also, let me check. Probably with the gap graphs, it will be easier to see when the. Yeah. It
Yeah,
definitely helped.
yeah.
It
Look
definitely
at the
helped.
recovery from the safety car.
Mm-mm.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It just delays the inevitable. Race 2 phenom Fail just manages to dominate the field time and time again. Although he was being caught at the end by Critical Set.
Yeah, the race was just not long enough. So again,
Absolutely not.
Fail.
5 laps more would have helped here.
Maybe even a 24-hour stint.
Yeah.
Wow,
What else
absolutely
did we get?
amazing.
We had the 3rd victory of Critical Set, the first, second place for the Bayer. I lost the race in the second to last corner there.
Consistency out of Kill Rob, 9 points per race there. That's a good
Absolutely.
showing.
It's a very consistent car.
And
No,
Kirov
always-
wants to take 8th place away from normal.
But then again,
No,
look at
shouldn't.
Europe. He's very consistent. Every single race, more or less on the same spot.
Also, Cabos has lost a few points there with this huge crash, but he
He did.
still, I think he still should be able to go for 11th if he has a very good last weekend there in Donington.
Probably would have been 12th, but for the goose egg here.
So let's take a look at
Amazing.
next race, I guess, at the track.
Donington Park Grand Prix.
Wait.
So
Okay.
there we are in Donington.
Ah, good old Donington Park.
Then good old, yes.
What a
Very.
nice track.
It is a
Mhm.
fast track. A lot of straights.
Quite.
I
Always
especially-
love to see the cars go through the S's on the back.
Yeah, the first section of
Oh,
the track
yes.
is just lovely to drive. Going down into the old hairpin and then up.
up to McLean's.
You have Wikipedia open. Very good.
Absolutely.
This track really going to favor cars with the ability to get up and accelerate out of a corner, as well as those that are able to handle those medium speed sweepers.
So time to beat for most cars is a 1:18. It's Ayrton Senna's fastest a lap.
So Ryan seems to have a very good weekend here. He doesn't have too much weight ballast. And
That helps him a lot.
in front.
Oh, fail on second place. But oh wow, the car is still more than half a second slow.
Ryan, as always, if he can go for on his own, then he will pull out lap times like crazy, cornering like hell. But yeah, that does not really help if you cannot get past or cannot get close enough to your competitors because you're losing so much time on this race.
That's a big issue.
I think this is going to be a tale of two types of cars here. You're either going to have the cornering grip to be able to make those passes back in the S's, or you're going to be able to set them up in the braking zone and power out of the hairpins. I see those are the two places that you're going to see some overtakes here.
I would say there's not too many balanced cars that have both more or less the same.
Maybe Conan has such a car, but yeah, it's just not top everywhere, and that's why he just cannot get to the very top.
He probably has a good car, but it's not good enough.
I'll just jump into qualifying here, and everything else then a pole position for Ryan Peters, I guess. So
Absolutely.
the fifth pole position for the cadet. Still a shame that he's only on fourth position in the championship, I guess.
Absolutely. He has a great car that also goes quite good, but I think the accidents he had in the past races are taking him down in the standings.
Now, the ballast that these cars are carrying, the weight penalty, does that number actually mean anything in units? Is it kilograms?
That's
What?
kilograms, yeah.
So Critical Set's throwing around 83 kilograms this race. Am I reading that correctly?
Yeah, that's right.
That's a big weight penalty.
Definitely, but still, yeah, we have only a few, let's say 5 or 6 cars at the front which are very tight together, and yeah, even 50 kilograms are not enough for the other ones to really catch up. So yeah, in the future with more competitive and more competitors, let's say that way, it will be a lot a lot tighter in front and a lot harder to really get through the field from a reverse grid. So I definitely want to keep this format for a few other things in the future.
It is certainly interesting to see just the repeat competitors with that weight penalty. I mean, just look at the top 10 cars all have a weight penalty, and they're still setting the fastest laps of the race, or qualifying, I should say.
They're still
Ryan almost breaking the
fastest cars.
146.
Yeah. No surprise there. Fail on second. If he manages to pull that into the finish, then he will be on 9th place for second race. I wonder if he will be able to pull out another win then. in second race.
Could he go for a double win? Could he just shock everyone and finish the season with wins across the board?
Potentially, and if Critical Set does not get into second and third place, then he might be losing the championship there.
Absolutely. He has to go for it, man. He has no chance but to be doing it.
The weather forecast this race looks slightly more predictable. It looks like you got to make your moves early.
A slight drizzle will be in the middle or to end to the race, but it probably won't be completely wet.
Yeah, not as at least not as hard as in the second race in Knockhill. The second race of the weekend should be quite dry again. So let's take a look at the cars again. A non-surprising car in front. We have title guy in 4. That's quite a good qualifying for him.
Pure Rob there in 8th. Let's see if the consistency stays the same going into this weekend.
And again, the Combi in 13 and the MPV in 16.
No surprises here.
They are
Absolutely
just
none.
spread. And the differences in the concepts don't really pay off there because it's just too far apart. They're not really race cars there in the end.
Well, we're lining up for race 1.
Those cars have been shoehorned into racing.
And they're off.
Fail goes into the first. Ryan is losing 2 places on the way to the first corner.
ABG up to 7th.
8 places gained on just one. Oh, and it's going down now. Chosen the wrong line through the S's.
It's the most technical sector, and cars with better handling probably would have a little bit of better chance to overtake here than others.
Well, if this was a
lost
drag racing
4th
series,
place.
ABG would have done all right.
Yeah. So Fail is going for the championship now. He would get 20 points and 13 only from critical set. I don't know exactly how much the point difference is, but yeah, if we gain 7 points now, then we would have a really, really tight race for the championship.
Contact out in the back
wow.
between Noah and Martin. Not any damage between the 2 cars. Everybody bunched up. Just give me a little room.
Small crash anyways.
So now these laps considerably longer than last track we were just at.
Absolutely. A lot longer.
Clicking
Oh,
1
left
minute
lap?
52 seconds here off the
Well,
line.
this track has 4 kilometers of length. In miles, I don't know how many it is. I don't speak freedom. So be my guest to convert it.
Yeah, let me put that in freedom units really quickly. That's about 2.5 miles, just under.
That sounds okay.
So here we go. We're coming up on the end of the first flying lap. We'll get to see what kind of race pace our drivers are going to set. Still pretty close between first and second. Fail only with 0.3 of a second. We'll get an update here as to just how far away he's pulled over first. And Ryan only half a second behind that. And now those numbers have doubled. His title guy 0.6 of a second back. Ryan 1 second back. Critical set 1.6 back in fourth there. Bayer 2.7 back in fifth. As we go into lap 3, with a little bit of moisture starting to creep onto the track.
And Ryan goes into second place down the crane curves and is now going for Fail.
Ryan has a fast car that last lap, just a little bit faster than Fail, and that's in traffic. Ryan actually, of course, that being the first flying lap of the race, Ryan's actually setting the fastest lap of anyone so far.
And now with a clear track ahead, a very fast second sector, and he's already in the neck of Fail.
Absolutely. This track is still slightly damp.
Coming to the line here, it's down within 0.4 of a second. Ryan runs a lap a half a second faster than Fail. Opening up the gap to title guy, though.
Absolutely.
Looks like Ryan's going to play the spoiler, perhaps, of the double win goal of Fail. Critical set still hanging around in
somewhere a
fourth.
small fender
Yeah,
bender.
probably in the back of the field between Martin, Noah, and Drake. They are Austin, Martin, and Noah. They have one very small damage there.
The gap between first and second down to 12/100ths of a second. Could we see a pass in the hairpin for the lead? Fail holds him off through the first hairpin, going into the second hairpin. All important to set up for that run down the straightaway, the longest one on the track. Fail holds off again as the gap increases back to 0.36. So off the onslaught, but now Ryan gets to go into the S-curves. Is he stronger than Fail here?
Ryan will have the better car down there into the old hairpin and then up the hill.
The gap stays pretty much the same, although it's very close. We're talking a car length at most between first and second, going down into the short chute here. Long sweeping right-handers, the gap stays pretty consistent. You could just see Fail beginning to edge forward over Ryan. Gap down to 0.18. Again, Ryan is very good down that section into that chicane before the hairpins, but can Fail open the gap up again.
What else is happening? Norman Vauxhall on 8 for the surprise, but is under heavy pressure from Kona. And Austin in 17 is under heavy pressure from Noah.
Across the line again, Fail opens the lead back up to that 0.3 of a second, almost 4, going back into the S's. Increasing pressure from Ryan constantly. That last lap, Fail 0.03 of a second faster than the second place competitor.
And it's starting to drizzle down.
The moisture fluctuating just a little bit between about 8 and 11%. Probably see an increase here. The gap remains the same between Fail and Ryan, about 0.3 of a second. Ryan scrubbing off a little bit of speed down into the chicane. He gets it down to 0.2 of a second. A little bit of a lunge at the leader, but not enough going into the hairpins again, as Title Guy is only about 0.4 of a second ahead of Critical Set between third and fourth. Dare Buyer 4.8 seconds back for fifth, and it looks like Fail is just beginning to open up the gap again as they come across the line to start lap 7. Looking back through the field, 8th and 9th. Battle in 8th and 9th. Norman Vauxhall under a lot of pressure from Conan in that 77 car. Fail still leads by about 0.3 of a second. Ryan being ever present in that car's mirror. Able to poke his nose out as they go into the corners, but not quite enough to draw alongside. It's Fail, Ryan, Title Guy, Critical Set, Dare Buyer, Donuts, Kill Rob, Norman in 8th for now. Conan and the Car Lover rounding out your top 10 as Ryan once again makes a dive into the chicane. 6/100ths of a second separate the first two cars.
It is
Rain
a
is
Fender.
picking up.
Wow.
Humidity on the track up
this
over 40%.
Will change anything. It's basically a bumper-to-bumper race. There is
The grip
wow.
The grip now begins to go away as Fail manages to pull out a half a second gap over Ryan. What was once within 1/10 is now beginning to open up
4
as
people
the grip
pitting.
is
Donut
starting
Snail,
to go away.
Q-Rob, Norman Vauxhall, Conan, the Car Lover, Urimax, Lodred, Cabos, all pitting for intermediates.
People are going in. There are no intermediates, but only wets. But
Oh,
many
wets.
people are coming in, and the leaders have not come in because rain was not high enough for them to make the decision yet. But it seems like everybody is going for the wet tires.
It could hurt them in the long run. It could very well hurt them.
Will it be a benefit to have come in first, to get those wet tires while the track increases to be damp, hurting the lap times of that lead group of cars, first through fifth, all still on race tires?
It was a little
Race
bit
tires.
unexpected, this rain.
And a 60%, well, it was expected. It said, the
Yeah,
forecast said in
it's
the middle of the
more rain
race.
than we thought.
That's true. That is
The
true.
forecast is not always perfect.
But that's the thing. We are
English
in
weather.
England. It's English weather, and
Now,
we can already see
First, second, third, fourth, fifth, all come in
P6
to get the wet
P20
tires.
is approaching. They are approaching to the pit stops.
And you can see
Will-
that they gained around 2 seconds only in sector 2 already. So
Will Donut
wow.
get the benefit of coming in first to get those intermediate
They will.
tires?
They will. They very well. But they are now. Donut is going on the straight.
They're pulling out of their pit boxes
Fail is looking out of the pits.
as Donuts comes down the stretch.
Wow.
Going into the first turn, will he be able to make
And
the pass?
Killrop getting
No!
by.
Donut definitely
Wow.
gained a few places.
Fail had a great stop as well. He is far in front of Cortex.
Yeah, he gained around 1.5 seconds there, only in the pits.
Just like that, the rain's leveled off. Everyone is once again on comparable tires.
Oh,
Donuts
a
with a
big
big
spin.
spin! A big spin and plenty of damage. Falling back, possibly out of the top 10.
Currently
He gets
on
it-
9.
He gets it gathered before the car lover can get up to him. There's a 6-second gap between the 8 car of Norman Vauxhall and the 44 car of the car lover. And that's where Donut managed to recompose himself, although that damage will slow him down.
It will make him drop. How far is the question.
Back towards the front, the title guy is now running in contention with Ryan. The benefit of getting thrown up into the mix thanks to those pit stops. That gap is now only a half a second between those two cars, and now Ryan dealing with pressure from a car behind, while Fail cruising away with almost a 2-second gap built up. Also, title guy way faster than Fail and Ryan. Of course, part of that due to the pits, the last lap. But title guy running 2:28 that last lap.
That's in time still include pit stop time, so might be just a different, or his guys in the pits just might have been a bit faster.
2 seconds faster, it looks like. That was found somewhere.
Leading gap is down to 1.5 seconds, so Ryan is still picking up. And we are now 3 laps away from the finish.
Rain reduced a little bit, and now the track is drying, slowly but drying.
But still, I think it was a good decision to go on the wets.
Mm-hmm.
That last time by, Ryan about 3/10 faster than Fail, but once again, is 3/10 a lap enough? Chipping away even more now through those S-curves. That 11 car is so much better in that second and third sector. It's just Fail manages to get out of those sharp corners better and put the power down.
Absolutely. Will it be enough for the last 2 laps is the question.
That last sector, another 3/10 off for Ryan. He's chipping away about 3/10 per sector now as the track dries up. On these intermediate tires, that could upset the balance as the track begins to bring in more grip. Maybe Ryan can actually get around Fail here if he can reel him in through these hairpins as we're coming to 3 to go. 2 to go.
0.6 of a second. And
It's a
Ryan
very,
was
very
0.7 of a
close.
second was the last lap, so Fail probably was very lucky having a quicker pit stop because he could get rid of a bit of pressure there. But now it's coming down to a very close finish at the end of this first race.
Again, first sector now by Fail is faster. It will be a very, very, very tight race for the top 2.
Meanwhile, Donuts, he needs to somehow hold on to his position for the next lap and a half. He's fallen to 10th, which means he would get pole position for the next race. But that damage is beginning to drag him back. He's running considerably slower, about 2 seconds, well, second and a half slower than the 11th place car. That could be
We
detrimental
are
to
approaching
Donuts.
the Melbourne hairpin. No passing by the cadet. Approaching Goddard. Still Fail in the front. Now with pressure increasing on him.
I wonder if we will see another last lap rush for the first
The
place.
last lap.
2/10
Well,
of
the
a
rain-
second.
The rain has stopped and the track continues to dry. And it looks like Ryan's got the run. He's in the strong portion of the track. This is his
And-
last
Oh,
chance.
and then the first place.
Overtaken.
Overtaken.
Will
Now
we
Ryan
see the
has
cutback?
very free track. He can
only
push
clears
down
him.
the throttle.
Only clears him by 6/100ths of a second down the short chute. We're getting into the point where Fail can try and fight back. Long sweeping right-hander as that 24 car is right on the
top is
bumper of the
now
blue
on
11.
Starkey straight.
is
But
taking
the gap is
draft.
increasing slowly.
Through the chicane, that's Ryan's last strong spot. Going into the hairpins, this is where Fail was able to reel him
Going
in
the
and get the
last
lap bigger.
hairpin.
Ooh, they're just
Still
one behind
no
the others.
pass.
Not behind.
And
Beside
Now
the other.
coming Goddard's.
Here's the last
Lap
braking
hairpin.
zone.
The last corner. Now he
It's
has
a drag
he
race
missed
to the
it.
line.
It's going away. And Ryan.
And the cadet
By-
on first place.
By half a second, he frustrates Fail's double win attempt. Title Guy in third, Critical Set in fourth, Dare Buyer in fifth, Conan in sixth, Kill Rob comes home in seventh, the 8 car in eighth, the Car Lover ninth, and Donut holds on to 10th to get that first spot in race number 2.
And the one who's really celebrating is Critical Set, because that means it's 3 points less for Fail, which can raise his championship chance quite a bit. Donut Snail has managed to get the pole for next race, even though he was so heavily damaged.
Again, he's running a second a lap slower at the end of the race there. Kabats could have played the spoiler, but it wasn't enough. He holds on to take the front for race 2.
5 points of difference between Critical Set and Fail. So that means the options are still open, and
Ryan puts himself into contention for a podium here with the win.
Absolutely.
Definitely, yeah.
the only one that can take away the lead
standings?
is Fail, because even if their buyer take the first place and Fail in Critical Set didn't qualify or didn't take any points, Critical Set would be in first place anyway.
What else do we have? We have
Oh
very close fight for the 8th place between Killrob and Norman Vauxhall.
Yep.
Absolutely.
It's a
And-
good run out of Title Guy.
Also, a fight for the third place between Udabai and the cadet.
And we have Cabas picking up for gaining a few points on the ones in front of him. He wants to pick up the places he lost there with his huge crash in Knockhill. Donuts Nell, this was basically his worst race with the huge error he made there, but he's still quite in a good position on 5th place, and now he will be starting from the front there. So the race was a little bit more exciting than this graph tells, I guess.
Lots of variation down there. I guess that's with the pitting.
Yeah.
The last group of cars.
Absolutely.
That's definitely when the pit was happening, and just it depends on whether your pit box is in front of the finish line or behind the finish line. That also.
And the gap's
influences the
increasing and
gaps there,
increasing.
yeah.
Well, nothing surprising here.
So live
So-
chat. Meanwhile, human consistently on last place.
There is consistency at least.
He's
But-
exactly.
At least he joined the competition. Others didn't. Others
True.
made mistakes building their race cars and have been disqualified. So
True.
Absolutely. It's better to be in the competition than not to be in there.
gain experience for next time and improve. All right, let's start the final race
Last
of the season, I guess.
Race.
The last race of this season of the 19. What is it? What year is it?
1994.
1994 British rivals.
And let's just have in mind, Fail is 5 points behind Critical Set. And if
Yes.
he wants to take the championship, he must get past Critical Set, and he must have a few cars in between.
There has
That's
to
what
be at
definitely
least
your front bumper's for going into turn
at
one.
least a 4-car gap, in my opinion. Otherwise, he can just forget it.
Donuts Nell on 1, definitely a very good position after the big mistake. Maybe this can yield some better results, and maybe somebody can stop Fail from winning second race.
Maybe.
And now we have the combi on 11. That's a surprise.
But
That's
Martin is
indeed
still
a
in
surprise.
16 anyway.
Still in 16. Very consistent also, you know. It's very consistent.
Also human, but we already told about him.
Yeah, also honorable mention Mike on P7, also very consistent in
Yeah.
P15.
Always 15th.
Yeah,
Alright.
you know, basically no one knew about it being a BRC at some point, so everyone built an ideal road car without paying attention to the rest.
Yeah, except for a few people, I guess.
The
know
buyer,
also-
for example.
Yeah, of course. No, my cars have been finished before everybody else got their cars in, so I didn't have any chance to compare. One who guessed it early was Leo, but he unfortunately messed it up building
The
race
BBT.
car. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, he guessed it.
yeah,
Nice.
he guessed it. Let's go. It's the end of the season.
It's the
last
end
season.
of the season.
The last race and the last
And
start.
green, they're off. Their buyer immediately taking over 3 places, and now in third position.
Fail is staying where he was, Ryan is staying, and Critical Set is picking up. So it's looking good for Critical Set.
Yeah, of course.
So I guess the question that we're going to have to watch throughout the course of this race is where can Fail get those 5 points?
Yeah. Currently it doesn't look too good.
At
Well,
all.
currently, exactly, it doesn't look good at all, but
Critical
again,
is already on 3.
it's a second stint.
With Critical on 3, this means Fail must win the race.
Mhm. Yes. It will be even. 20 and 15.
Yeah.
Well, he's beginning his climb as he passes Ryan for 8th. Let's see what happens once the
Oh,
tires
it's a
get warm.
fight for 8 and 9.
Mhm.
And
Up to
on
7th.
7, oh wow!
Ryan follows him
Big
through.
skip.
Goodbye, Snowpresk.
Snope Presk.
Nope.
Nope.
Exactly.
Donaldson is trying to pull away, but Critical Set is already following.
Ooh, Kill Rob. Taking 2 places.
Europe is getting fast. But then
He
again, it's the
wants
first
eighth.
stage of this race.
Kilrob wants the 8th place in the championship.
Ryan passes 4 cars, goes up to 5th from 7th.
And we have
Mechanical
Ooh.
failure.
Ooh,
a big crash there in the
big crash. But not big
Ow.
enough.
Austin took a lot of hit there too. Could he possibly fall prey to human?
Hard to say, but no, I don't think so.
I would say yeah, exactly, rather not.
Never happened, I think.
We're
Little
on-
Major
Genau.
car was
Exactly,
able
on
to
the
be-
offside, it never happened like this. But looking at humans, still, the acceleration of this car is so...
Kid Rob.
Driver error
Slow.
out of Kill Rob. That benefits Fail, Conan, and the car lover. Lots of close racing there as 4th through 7th are all within a second and a half.
And Norman Vauxhall is in the back of Kilrob and wants to take the place.
Yeah, I really want to.
You mean he wants to bump into him?
That's another way to say that, but yeah. Because we're at so tight fight, I really would like to get 1 point ahead of Kid Rob. But I don't think I will be able to. So
Hey, remember, if they're going to do a bump and run, do it at the last race of the season. There's nothing after this.
Critical Set is gaining 1 second a lap on the lead. So he wants to make clear that he is
Oh,
Kilrob
contact.
into
I
Carlo.
didn't.
Contact.
I didn't.
You just distracted them.
Wasn't me.
Kilrob tried to get away from Norman. He was so scared and he bumped into him.
Yep.
He
So that
just
helps
slipped on the
title
throttle.
guy, Norman, Kabatz, a big spin out of human. That doesn't really mean anything for anyone else in the field. but that'll slow him down and perhaps be caught even faster. Donuts gets passed by Critical Set, but they jockey back and forth going into the chicane. The gap reads 0 on the telemetry here as Donuts manages to pull away, but we go into the hairpin. Are they still side by side?
How much does Critical Set really risk?
Is he risking too much, maybe?
You can't lose the championship if you win the race.
But you can lose it if you crash.
Exactly.
very
You
true.
can't win it if your car doesn't drive. That's a big
Meanwhile,
problem.
Fail is pushing on Ryan. The pressure high on
He
that number
is.
11 car. Only 0.4 of a second back to the 24. Critical Set might need to get up in front if Fail can continue his march through the field.
But so
He's-
far he isn't fast enough on the first and last sector.
I chalk a lot of that up to the fact he's in traffic right now. I mean, look, even Der Beyer is coming under pressure, or Ryan, who's under pressure to Fail. He could pass 3 cars in a lap with a good move as they change positions for the lead again.
Definitely the BAM is holding up the others and holding up Fail on his way forward.
Donuts
The
and Critical
gap
Set
is
side by
still
side through the
reading
hairpin.
0 seconds.
The pressure beginning to build on that 48 car as Critical Set on his bumper.
Oh,
An error out
a
of
slap
Ryan.
for the cadet, which pushes Fail onto the 4th place, now hunting their buyer.
Now Der Beyer has to deal with that hard charging 24 car who knows what he has to do to bring home glory.
And he will try everything to bring it home.
Fail is slowly gaining. It is faster than the leading car,
Steadily.
and
Donuts
he
is
wants
holding
to
up.
take the first place.
Donut's
20.
is holding
But
him up, and
it
that may be a
wouldn't
benefit
matter.
for Fail.
But it's
Even
tiny
I-
bit. That's
Again through the chicane, Donut and Critical Set side by side, lap after lap.
Critical Set is just lacking the special sauce to get past.
it's getting closer and closer. Donuts Net also has a little bit higher tire wear.
And meanwhile, at the
longer
same
the
time,
race goes,
Fail is on the bumper of Der Beyer. If Critical Set can't get past Donuts, if he can't get into clean air and begin to build a gap, he's going to have to deal with that 24 car.
Absolutely. My
They're
hot
bu-
guess is that Fail will overtake him, and not in this lap, but in the next 2 or 3.
Second, third, and fourth are currently the first 3 cars in the championship standing. The 42 is certainly Critical Set's best friend as he manages to pass for the lead, but
Oh,
again,
wow.
they dive into the chicane. Does he manage to hold on this time? It looks like he does. Can he clear the
hold
hairpin?
on. He has a clear field in front of him, nothing holding him up. He will get away now.
Into the second hairpin for the front stretch they go. 6/1000ths of a second at the last sector was the gap. He opens it up to 0.3. He's got a car length in order to breathe. He can get past, and Der Beyer has held Fail up. This gives Critical Set the opportunity to get away, to make that gap, to lock down this championship with a number 1 finish here.
He now has to hold this number 1 for the next couple of laps. And if he does that, he has won the BRC.
But he could also lose a couple of opposition and still win the championship. Remember, he had 5 points in front of Fail. Fail is now in 4th place. Even if Fail was able to take the 1st place, Critical Set win anyway. He have to lose at least 2 or 3 places. And I think it's very difficult that happens if everything goes smooth. Probably Critical
There's
Set.
no chance.
Also,
Yeah.
going back further in the field, 9th through really 12th, 13th place are all close. Nothing to say we couldn't have a wreck. Nothing to say we couldn't have a safety car.
True.
But going back to that 9th place position, Kabat's only having 0.4 of a second over Kilrob as they go into the S's here. That last lap, they ran almost identical lap times, 1/100th of a second apart. And then Urimax in 11th, only about a half second behind there. He also running very similar lap times, a little bit slower than the 9th and 10th place cars. Critical Set has the lead up to 0.7 of a second. Fail still cannot get past the 42 of Der Bayer. Over 3 seconds back of the lead and any chance he has of taking victory in the BRC this year.
That will be a very, very tight last race. A very important race even for some people.
Even if Fail is going to overtake Der Bayer, there are just 4 laps remaining, and he should be able to get to close down 1 second lap. It is quite difficult.
And then he has
It's
to
not
take
possible.
him out of the race, basically.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not possible
of course.
unless Critical Set crashes heavily now. There's no chance.
He's a little bit under pressure at least from Donut's neck. So nothing
He
is...
crashed on Human while trying to overtake him. No.
Yeah, Lapin can play a little bit of a role there.
Oh,
Can be held
okay.
up in traffic.
There is a chance to crash.
No. But
Okay.
in the
Just wondering,
24
but
hours,
okay.
there will be a chance.
Ah, okay, nice.
Because that's just reality.
Mm.
That's how it really is.
What is not reality was my continuing engine failure in the 1960s. Oh, okay, I'm joking.
Yes,
That's
5 years after
completely
that,
different.
They're still not over.
It will be never over. I'm sorry.
Still have bad dreams.
As we approach the last 10 kilometers of this race, Critical Set still with a comfy lead of 0.3 of a second over Donuts. Then it's over 3 seconds back to Der Bayer in 3rd, Fail in 4th, Conan in 5th, Ryan in 6th, Title Guy in 7th, Norman Vauxhall in 8th, Kabatz in 9th, battling it out with Killrob in 10th as the pressure remains there. It's Yuri Max in 11th, Lordred in 12th, The Car Lover in 13th, ABG7 14th, 15th is Miko P7. I'm sorry if I completely botched that name. 16th is Martin 2005, 17th Jake 302, 18th Austin, 19th Human, and at the back of the field, crashed out, is Noah C. As we're coming up to 2 to go.
Yeah, Donut's neck can hold the pace but because he's in the slipstream, but it doesn't seem like he will be able to launch an attack there.
Doesn't seem to be a threat on Critical Set. Leading place.
Der Bayer coming under pressure of Fail again. It looks like his championship hopes are dashed, but that still doesn't mean he wants to get on the podium for this final race. Kabatz continually under pressure from Killrob as they run mirrored lap times. 1 lap, Kabatz a little faster. This past lap, Killrob a little bit faster. That position very much up for grab. A driver error out of the car.
Karlover.
He's in 13th with plenty of room. Back to ABG 7th and 14th. He'll stay there.
Donut's neck seems to be able to fight a bit. He's quite close now, and there's 1 lap to go.
Coming
White
through
flag is
the
out.
hairpin. About to take the white flag. It's Critical Set. 39 hundredths of a second ahead of second. Der Bayer over 3 seconds back and Fail behind him.
I think
He basically is on his last lap to victory. There is nothing holding him up.
All he has to do is hit his marks. The track is clear all the way to the chicane towards the end of the lap. Donut falling back through the S's as Critical Set has the better car into the sweeping right-hander. The lead stands at just about 0.7 of a second as they dive towards the chicane. Der Bayer still with 0.3 over Fail, as it looks like Fail's fairy tale chance to win race 2 one more time to perhaps get the championship is beginning to fleet away as they go towards the final hairpin for the last time.
checker flag is out. Critical Set is coming out for the last hairpin, and he crossed the line. First
We have a winner.
place.
First place.
And
This is a championship
Winner.
Wow.
Der Bayer hangs on to 3rd by 0.3 of a second there. Conan was coming under pressure from Ryan, but holds on to 5th over Ryan in 6th. Title Guy in 7th, Norman Vauxhall in 8th, Kabatz in 9th, who holds on fully pressured by Killrob in 10th.
think it's the first time that the Kubot's car arrived at the top 10.
Maybe.
I don't remember.
Not
Not the first time. Okay, thank you. Because I never see him in the reversed grid. So I...
Yeah, probably often in race 2.
Yeah, probably.
So that was it. Last seconds. Again, a very close race there with 6 cars in 6 seconds. And yeah, a deserved winner of the first ERC after 4 years of critical set there. Fail on second and myself on third. Yay. The only surprise probably is Ryan only on fourth.
Yeah.
Basically because of a crash in Brands Hatch. And maybe, yeah,
Basically.
and I think Oldham Park or Thruxton also was a very bad race in the second race. So
If it wouldn't be for Brands Hatch, then probably the Cadet would be up much higher.
Yeah, but
How about the 8 car in 8th holding off Killrob from the tie last race?
It's amazing. The 8th car is still in 8th.
But,
It's great, mate.
it was more matter of Killrob having a trouble in the last race. Otherwise, we probably he
Absolutely.
in 8th place and I would be in 9th. But I guess my final position.
Although crazy 8s for the 8 car there in the last race, 8 points in both the first and second race, finishes 8th overall. You couldn't write it better.
The last 4 races, 8, 7, 8, 8 for the number 8 on place 8.
Yeah.
It's
If I
great,
had a
mate.
final, if I had a final points of 88 points, it would be like, I don't know, perfect. But
Some good points hauls at the top of the standings here. I mean, look at Critical Set with 33 points these last 2 races. Fail, coming up shorter than that. He gets 30, 26 for Der Beyer, 30 for Ryan. I mean, he was catching up to Der Beyer at the end, just too far back. Another 23 for Donuts. Title guy with a good haul as well. I mean, he's got 24. Conan with 21, and then it's pretty consistent the rest of the way back. But just look at the cluster of points there, especially for like the last 3 tracks of just those top 6. They were your competitors week in, week out, weight distribution or penalty. It didn't matter. They just had the speed in their cars. They had the handling. They had the performance. And you can really tell by looking at the points. I mean, first place, 196 points. And then only the top 7 cars even break the 100-point mark.
well, I could say the real competitors are the first 4 cars because not only, but they were the only cars that able to take the first place.
I didn't.
Oh shit! You're
True.
right.
Your car was the only one who was like only second
right.
once and
We only had
always
3
third
once.
or fourth.
You're right.
But we had
Well, I mean, just
cars
look
before
at-
the
Looking
race.
at the average, it's basically a place free car. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, looking at the average, it's 30 points at the first track. It's 26 after that, so on and so forth. He's averaging continually between 25 and 30 points a race. It makes sense given the final standings. But there's a level of, not to sound harsh, there's a level of mediocrity in being average, though. You
Yep.
need to have that standout performance. Still, a third place position for the 42 car, nothing to sneeze at.
I personally, I'm just happy that Fail did not again win the second race.
And what a race, what a weekend to not win
Yeah.
the second race. Of all the times not to do it, of all the times for someone to finally spoil the second race streak of the 24 car, Critical Set does it where it counts. He comes in for the win to lock it down. Like I said during the race, you can't lose the championship if you win the race.
A very deserved winner there.
Very deserved.
Fail, basically, if you take a look at his first race, positions, it was not really that good. In Thruxton, in Snetterton, in Oldham Park, it was not that good, and that's what lost the championship.
Exactly. His car was amazing for coming from the basically a second stint warrior, you know,
Yeah.
reverse grid made him good. Plus, most of the times, especially in Brands Hatch, it was the case on Alton Park or Knockout Hill, the rain helped a lot in the
Yes.
second race.
I wonder if that good finish at Donington Park, that first race, if that almost hurt him because it buried him in the
Maybe,
field.
yeah. But even if Critical would still have finished second, and yeah, that would have been enough for the championship.
Would have been close though. Because what is it's 3 points. So you were
points.
talking there a 2-point split from first to second instead of the 12 that we see here. Yeah, the results wind up being the same, but certainly I think would have been happier in the 24 camp if they managed to come home with another trophy here and being that close. Also, who knows really if Fail was able to get ahead of Critical Set and keep him further back, or maybe Derbier, maybe one of the other cars, Ryan, even Donuts in that last race could have potentially, with traffic in front of that car, because we saw how much Critical Set was being held up for the first half of that race. If he got back in the traffic, no telling what could have happened.
Yeah.
But we're not playing the game of what ifs, are we? It's pretty final now. Critical Set with the trophy, the first BRC in the last 4 years.
Well,
Congratulations.
I could play the game of what if and just run another season tomorrow, but yeah, that's it. That's the official results.
That's the official results. Nothing has changed now. There is no alternative worlds, no alternative races. That's it. That's the result. That's how this BRC ended.
Yeah, and with with those words, I think it's time to end these.
And just before we go, Martin, as always, thank you for hosting these events, for putting this all together. We know it's not easy for you. It's a lot of work on your end, and I think everyone in the automation community will join me in saying that we think these are tons of fun.
Thanks a lot. I hope it is. It is work, but it's also a lot of fun for me. We're all here for the racing, and I'm trying to improve it even further. We have a very good next challenge on the road. Today we had no simulation crashes, by the way. So let's go into the 24-hour race, the first 24-hour race. I hope I can make it and the simulation will not break. And yeah, we'll have the 24 hours on the Nürburgring. The window for the homologation is still open for another 6 days. So get your cars in if you're interested. In the first 24 hours of the Nürburgring in the real world, we had 99 cars. Let's see if we can get close to that number in automation.
We probably will. Everyone who can participate should participate in the 1970 24-hour edition. It will be tons of fun.
I'm not promising that my car is any good. I'm just going to try and make the rules.
I can guarantee it will be fun.
Doesn't matter. If it's good, just race.
I'm just going to submit a pickup truck with 100% reliability and see what happens.
Well, try to make it in any groups. Well, of the pickup truck, the best thing you can probably do is group 3.
2-seater sports car.
That should be my goal. How many cars can I beat with a pickup truck?
That can be perfectly doable. Just join, everyone. Join. For information, Derbier, Norman Voxel and me, we are in Group 1. If you want to fight us, we have to join Group 1. If
Technically speaking, it's not sure that I will be in Group 1, by the way.
It isn't.
It isn't. Not sure. I still have to decide. But
but you guys homologated only for Group 1.
But it depends on the level of modifications you make if you're going to Group 2 or stay in Group 1. You can take a Group 1 car into Group 2. You can take a Group 3 car into Group 4. If you want to, for example, change cam profiles or stuff like that.
I would like to, I don't know, just a question to you, Martin. Wouldn't it be probably easier if on the homologation card you put both the X on Group 1 and 2 or Group 3 or 4 for the cars that were able to qualify both?
No, because
Okay.
The car I got is there in Group 1 as it is, and only if you modify it, it will go into Group 2.
I see now. Okay.
What
Okay.
what I'm hearing is that once entries are closed and we know when this is what the field's going to look like, it sounds like that we all need to sit down and have a chat about the potential season before we start running races.
Yeah.
I think that could be an interesting thing for the competitors to tune into and
Yeah,
see how it stands.
I'll definitely get the trump cards out for that.
And if you need help with the trump cards, if you have to do something manually with like Inkscape or something like that, I think I can help you, but just
Okay.
let me know.
Thanks for the offer. I'll have a think about that. So far I planned with no cropping of any images, just take regular screenshots. And place
Yeah, I perfectly understand this. So,
But maybe for the cropping of the cars for the simulation, I can use some help there.
Okay.
All right.
Amazing.
That's it.
That was BRC British Rivals comeback. Thank you everyone for joining and participating.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun,
mhm.
and yeah, I guess we'll not have such a small field of cars again, hopefully. All right.
Okay.
Thanks everybody.
Thank
Thank you
you.
guys for also joining and commenting.
Thank you for the hosting and great software.
Thanks for having us. It's so very enjoyable for us. I hope to see you guys around a little bit more. I'm going to try and actually play my game here. But always fun for me. And with that, good night.
Good night everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye bye.